Okay guys, this is lesson 4 and this should be pretty easy. If you've already seen this video, then you're probably not here because it was actually really helpful. After the second reaction, he gave like the shortcut, so that's what I'm going to be doing right now, just doing the shortcut. So I'm going to draw my ethanol, and then there's some exceptions. So whenever you have a primary carbon attached to the oxygen, you're going to make it into a carboxylic acid. Usually we would add an O here, so I'm going to double bond that oxygen. I would usually add an O here, but since we only have PCC and this doesn't have any oxygens, we're going to leave it just like that. So it kind of cuts it off and prevents it from oxidizing. If it says PCC and water, you will definitely add that O down here, just single bonded. Okay, just perfect example. So we have my ethanol and then double bonded oxygen and a single bonded oxygen. Go ahead and add my hydrogens and we're ready to go. So I think also when it says chromic acid, you'll go ahead and add that because that has a lot of oxygens in it that are willing to be donated to this molecule. So I'm going to start by drawing my butane. Got a methyl at the 2 position, and I'm going to add my oxygen at the 1 position. I'm going to have to add my hydrogens to check the conformation. So this is my chiral center. I've got my first priority here, second, third, going counterclockwise, so I'm going to have to press mirror. So 1, 2, 3 is going right there to the right. And then this is a primary alcohol, or I'm sorry, a primary carbon. So I'm not going to be adding another oxygen here because it's just PCC, CH2Cl2. So I'm going to go ahead and double bond this. And then I'm going to delete 2 things. I'm going to delete this hydrogen, and I'm going to delete one of these hydrogens because carbon only needs 4 bonds. So I'm going to leave it like that. If it had water, I would add an O here, an OH. But it doesn't, so we can just leave it like that. Okay, methanol, so we've got our carbon and our oxygen, and it's just PCC and CH2Cl2, so that is it for that one. Okay, I'm going to draw my propane. I'm going to add my oxygen on top. There's no conformation, so I don't need to add the hydrogens yet. It's interacting with PCC. It doesn't really matter with this. With the secondary carbons, we're actually just going to turn it into a ketone. So I'll do my double bond. Now I'll add my hydrogens and electrons. And this is what I get in the end. Yeah, that's it. So for the primaries, we turn them into carboxylic acids. For the secondaries, carbons, we turn them into ketones. And then for the tertiaries, those are easy. We just leave them like that because they don't react. The only exceptions when it comes to PCC and water and chromium acid is the carboxylic acids, so the primary carbons. I'll add my butane. I've got a oxygen at the 2 position. I'm going to have to add my hydrogens just to check that conformation. I've got first priority, second, third, right there to the right. We've got it down, and this is a secondary carbon, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that into a ketone. Drag that, and then lastly, I'm going to delete those 2 elements, this hydrogen here, and this one in the back of my secondary carbon. Hit arrange, and that's it. We don't have to worry about kind of like what these things say for this lesson, because this will always, the secondaries will make a ketone. Okay, I'm going to start with my butane. I'm going to add my methyl at the 3 position, and then I'm going to add my oxygen at the 2 position. I'm going to add my hydrogens, hit arrange, and then I'm going to check the conformation. So this is my chiral center. First priority, second, third, it's going right there to the right. So I'm going to mirror that. First priority, second, third, it's going counterclockwise. That's exactly what we want. And it's connected to a secondary carbon. So all I have to do is attach that hydrogen bond. And I'm going to roll it around so I can see that hydrogen in the back. And then lastly, I'm going to delete this hydrogen and this one. Make sure to delete this one because it's easy to miss. And if you miss it, it will be wrong and it might be kind of confusing as to why it was wrong. So just make sure that you keep an eye on this carbon and make sure it has the right amount of bonds. So again, this was a secondary, so it just turned to a ketone. No special exceptions for those. Got my propane with a methyl at the 2 position and an oxygen at the 2 position as well. Okay, and we see this is a tertiary carbon, so we're gonna leave it like that. It's not gonna react with anything. So these are easy. Okay, ethanol, I was talking about chromic acid earlier, so I'm going to add my oxygen. And chromic acid is like the chromium with double bonded oxygens on 4 sides. So that has plenty of oxygen to spare. It's going to go ahead and give one to this molecule here. We're going to add our hydrogens. And we're going to leave it like this. So with water, chromic acid, you're going to get this molecule. With PCC only, you're just gonna get this with the hydrogen. If it says PCC and water, you're gonna get this. So don't get those confused. As long as it has water, chromic acid, something with the O included with the PCC in the question, you're gonna add this. But PCC by itself is not gonna add this extra oxygen. Okay, and we've got our butane. We've got a methyl at the 3 position and an oxygen at the 1 position. There is no... Okay, yeah, there's no conformation, so I can go ahead and do my double bonding. And then with this one, I'm going to leave it because I don't see any oxygens. I see dichlorochloramate, dichloromethane, chlorochromate, and pyridium, so I'm going to leave it like that. Now if there is water thrown in the mix or chromic acid, then yeah, go ahead, make that into an OH, but we can leave it like that. And I'm just double checking because this is my last question. 4 and then 3 methyl and my 1 O double bond O. Okay, I believe that is it. Okay, so this isn't too bad. Again, if you need more explanations, you can just watch his video. It is super helpful, especially after he does a second reaction. That's when he really shows like the shortcuts and all that. But other than that, good luck, and I'll see you next time.